Welcome to Wanderlust and Wishes, the podcast where we explore the world one destination at a time.
I'm Julie.
And I'm Crystal.
As travel agents with Fantastical Vacations, we are here to share our passion for travel and help you turn your wanderlust into reality.
From hidden gems to bucket list adventures, join us as we dive into the sights, sounds, and stories of our favorite destinations.
So grab your passport, pack your bags, and let's embark on this journey together. Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 113 of Wanderlust and Wishes. Today, we are going to do a halfway to the holidays episode. I know it feels like, how can we possibly be talking about the holidays at this point? Because we're in July and it's really, really hot in most places. It's definitely really warm where I am in the Southeast. And I know that Crystal has also talked about how hot it is in Ohio, having heat indexes over 100 pretty consistently. But this is the perfect time to start thinking about plans for the holidays at really any of the Disney destinations. So Disney World, Disneyland. And if you wanted to do a very maritime cruise, that's also something that you could do. Today, we're going to mostly focus on the Disney World options because it's a lot to cover.
Spoiler alert, I may have booked very maritime Christmas party tickets this week.
Yay!
So those are for sale. So it's the perfect time to be planning because you'll get the dates you want. You'll get the resort you want. Just don't tell my children. They don't know yet.
Actually, Crystal and I both have plans to go to Disney World during the holidays. We're going 2 different weeks. So we'll have probably two different post-trip reports, but we'll have lots of excitement leading up into December because we're both super excited to be there again during the holidays.
So, question for you. When do you officially start celebrating Christmas at your house?
I would like to say that we wait for Thanksgiving. I have one person in my house, or one daughter, that is very adamant that you don't start doing Christmas things until Thanksgiving. And then I have my other daughter that wants to watch Christmas movies November 1st. So it's kind of a combo around here.
I feel that deeply. We used to be like hardcore day after Thanksgiving until the Christmas music turns on. But we have a lot of January birthdays. So our Christmas comes down like New Year's. So it's so much work. May have put up my Christmas tree around Halloween before. Just so we have it up.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I agree. I think with all of our lives being so hectic, that being able to enjoy the Christmas tree and the decorations as long as possible, I'm all for that.
Last year, I had decorated 6 trees, none of them which were my own, before the first week of November. So by the time it came time for my tree, I was over it. So I feel like I need to do my tree first this year.
Yeah.
But that's going to put it like mid-October because I got to do like some retail trees. And they do it Halloween.
Yeah, because I need to have them out there and ready to put out in the beginning of November. We have a fake tree that I put in our front room because I just like the lights. Like, I don't even necessarily always decorate it. I just like the lights to show in the front window from the street. But our real tree, we go the day after Thanksgiving. It's kind of a family tradition with my parents and my sister's family to go into the North Carolina mountains and we get a tree. So that tree doesn't go up until usually that weekend after Thanksgiving because of that reason. But I'm not opposed to putting up decorations before that are not the Christmas tree specific.
I love that. All about spreading it out. So let's jump into some key dates here because when it's official at Disney, why shouldn't it be official for us? Walt Disney World holiday season starts officially November 13th through January 6th. They say the 13th, so no one's coming at them when the tree's not up. But as soon as the last Halloween party ends, whether that be the night of Halloween or the day after, they start turning over the parks. sometimes it's overnight. I feel like the last couple years it's kind of been stretched over like a couple days. Like
Yeah.
most will turn over and then the Christmas tree comes up like 2 or 3 days later in Magic Kingdom. And then the resorts are the last things to roll out. So I think that's their like everything has to be done by that day. So
Yeah.
for that 2 weeks between Halloween and November 13th, it will start trickling. So if you're there, it's a fun transformation.
Right. I agree. I think the November 13th is all the resorts are decorated. Everything is done. So that doesn't mean that if you're there before November 13th that you're not going to see things, because actually the Very Merry Christmas Party, those dates start on November 8th and go through December 22nd. And then the Jollywood Nights Party starts on November 7th and it actually goes all the way through January 5th. So those dates, their start dates are a little bit earlier than that official November 13th date. So like Crystal said, it kind of trickles a little bit.
So that tells me that both Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios will be done by like the 5th or 6th. Like done. Interesting that Jollywood Nights is going until January this year.
Yeah, it's first time.
Have the hard stop like a couple days before Christmas, like 22nd, 23rd.
It looks like, based on what we were talking about, it looks like there's a little bit of a break. So they do have kind of a stop right before Christmas through New Year's, and then they have a couple of extra parties in January. So it's a little odd. I'm wondering if they'll maybe put a little bit of a New Year's spin on it, maybe on those January dates. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with that, because this is definitely the first time that they've done this.
I'm curious how well those will sell. The 3rd and the 5th.
Oh yeah, true. Another key date is the beginning of the Festival of the Holidays in EPCOT. This is something you definitely need to pay attention to, because if you're looking for the holidays across all the parks, the Festival of the Holidays does not start until after Thanksgiving. It starts on November 27th and it goes through December 30th. So if you're going in early November and you are thinking you're going to get to experience some of the holiday celebrations and festivities in EPCOT, that's not going to be there. Those don't start until the end of November. And that's very typical. That's traditionally when they start those festivities in EPCOT.
And if you're on the West Coast, Disneyland holidays are slated November 18th through early January 2027. This is usually because they're like getting Small World and stuff ready to switch over for the holidays. Haunted Mansion will already be switched over, so that's fun. And then Disney Cruise Line Very Merrytime cruises, they start mid-November as well.
And those are so awesome. If you're looking for something, if you've done Disney World or Disneyland and you're ready to do something a little bit different and maybe with a more all-inclusive type feel and still experience Disney and the holidays, a cruise is on point for that. Okay, so let's talk about why Disney does Christmas better than anyone. Now, obviously, that's a very subjective opinion, but you really have to think about, they take the magic that's already there and they amplify it by like 1,000.
Yeah, like they put a themed Christmas tree in every resort on property. You have the different background music and smells, and how many foodie guides will we see for the holiday season? Holiday merch will take over. And then there's the gingerbread houses. More to come on that because they're rufflings and feathers this year. And just there's so many different things. What is your favorite part of all of it?
Well, I was going to mention, I really don't think there's any topping Main Street decorated with the tree and the castle in the background. However, I really love what they do in EPCOT, that they truly tell a story from the different perspectives of the different cultures, especially in the World Showcase area. I love that they do that and truly make it inclusive and educational and just kind of a like overall magical across the board for all cultures.
Well, and they take that into the resorts too. Each resort is not just like decorated for Christmas. It is themed after whatever the resort theme is. Animal Kingdom Lodge at Christmas time is like an African safari mixed with Christmas. Like it's hard to even explain because it's so above and beyond that it's just blows your mind.
They have gingerbread animals like zebras and giraffes, and that's how they decorate the tree is with the safari type, the different animals from the safari. They have ornaments representing those. And like at the Polynesian, it's very Polynesian based, like flowers on the wreaths and not the typical poinsettia that you think of for like here in the United States, or maybe even like whatever that traditional kind of red colors. They use different, more Polynesian colors, like pinks and blues and yellows. Same thing for Caribbean Beach. I remember my parents stayed there over one holiday season and sent me pictures of the lobby decorated. It was so pretty. It's all like has, shells and Caribbean sea-based decorations. It's so pretty.
And then it's like the Hawaiian themed music, Christmas music. And
oh, yeah.
So if you would like to just do a entire vacation resort hopping and not going to parks, you're not alone. This happens all the time because everybody goes for the Christmas decorations and they want to see all the things and hear all the sounds and try all the different snacks. And I am so excited to be able to do some of that when we are there in December.
Yeah, my daughters are basically counting down until the foodie guides come out. They're all in for visiting all the booths at EPCOT and making sure that they get all the cookies on the like cookie stroll and that they experience all the major like holiday snacks at Magic Kingdom, because I think those are going to be the two parks that we kind of focus on while we're there because we're just there for a few days. They're all in. They're already talking about how they just want to do snacks and not even do like real meals.
I am part of the problem of people doing Christmas early. I've already been trying to find Mickey family holiday pajamas.
Oh my gosh, that's such a good idea because you can wear it to the party. Yes. Ah! That's such a good idea. I don't know if my teenagers will do that. I can try.
I don't think my husband would either, but I am totally going to find some and take them anyway.
Oh, he'll do it. He'll be fine. But convincing John and convincing Lena, very, very different, very different situations.
It only takes like one little puppy dog look from Harper and he's
exactly. Gone. And that doesn't work on Lena. Oh, that's funny.
If you only had one day at any of the parks at Walt Disney World while you're there for Christmas, which park are you going to say? Which one are you going to go to?
This is really tough because I do love all of them, but I think if I had to pick, it would most likely be Magic Kingdom. Just because, like I was mentioning before, walking down Main Street, or really once you walk through the tunnel and you see the tree, and then you see all of the garland and you see the wreaths, and all the stores have holiday merch in the windows or like holiday snacks, like at the confectionery. Like they have all this holiday presents as you go down Main Street. And then, of course, the castle is at the end. I don't know that you can really top that. Then you also have the holiday parties. And obviously one of them is not at Magic Kingdom, but the Very Merry Christmas Party is the traditional party. That's amazing. And I don't know. I don't know if I could not choose that.
Yeah. It's like already the most magical time of the year in the most magical place on earth. Like you can't top that.
And when I didn't even talk about they do snow on Main Street as well.
Yeah, spoiler alert, it snows in Florida.
That's so magical. You know it's not real because it's in Florida, but it doesn't matter. It's still snow. One thing before we start talking about the Christmas parties, if you are not going to the Christmas party and you're there over the holidays, just make sure that you know that if you're there in Magic Kingdom on a party night or Hollywood Studios on a Jollywood night, it's probably not going to be as crowded during the day, which is a good thing. But like at Magic Kingdom, you're not going to get to see the fireworks because you're going to get kicked out around 7, 6:30, 7. And similarly, in Hollywood Studios, you're going to be kicked out around that 6:37 time frame if you do not have a party ticket.
Yeah, it's always such a fine line here of a lot of people will say skip Magic Kingdom that day, but I think it depends on if you have what your priorities are for one, and two, if you have a park hopper. Because if you have a park hopper, go do the morning of Magic Kingdom when it's dead and ride everything and not have to worry about lightning lanes, and then just go somewhere else for the evening. Hop over on another night just for the fireworks. But again, that's going to be very dependent on how your family wants to do things. So we could chat through that with you personally if that's something you wanted to do. So speaking of the holiday parties, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party tickets are on sale now. And this is one of those like pivotal Christmas things at Disney. When you turn on Christmas morning Mickey parade on TV, when it's on playing, they do this parade at the party. And that's the only time you can see it unless you're there for filming. And so it's usually at night. It's not on Christmas Day. That's not live, FYI. It is a separate ticketed event. They limit the attendance. You can usually enter around 4 p.m. and then the party typically starts about 7 p.m. and runs to midnight. There's the cookie stroll. There's the parade. There's a special castle show, special meet and greets, and special food, and just over the top in your face Christmas, which is how it should be.
And just to be clear, it is limited attendance. So you do not have lightning lanes during these parties, but it's still crowded. It's not like you're going to be the only people there. It's just not the same as like a normal park day during the day. And so just to quickly go through, Crystal mentioned most of them, the things that are going to be at the party and you do not want to skip, and you want to try to be also strategic in how you do them. Some of these things they do multiple times. So you want to think through, usually the first showing of whatever, if there's multiple showings, is going to be the most crowded, especially people that are there with younger kids. So if you have younger kids and you want to be there at the earlier showing, just know that it's going to be more crowded. And then also if you feel like you let them sleep all day in preparation for being up late and you feel like they're going to be fine, then you may want to wait until the second showing or the second option for whatever it is so that it's not as crowded and you can maybe do something else earlier on. The Once Upon a Christmas Time parade, the Minnie's Wonderful Christmas Time fireworks. So this is different than the Happily Ever After fireworks. It's specific to Christmas or to the holidays. Mickey's Most Merriest Celebration, the character meet and greets. So we've talked about this before with some of the Halloween, with the Halloween party. The meet and greets can get a little bananas. They can have really long lines. So you want to kind of decide what a priority is for you because, you don't want to necessarily be waiting in line all night to meet a character when you could be doing other things. The cookies and hot cocoa. We talked about snow on Main Street. Just amazing vibes. The holiday attraction overlays. The Jungle Cruise becomes Jingle Cruise. Then you also have, during the party, you have Space Mountain and Tomorrowland Speedway and the Mad Tea Party and Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor. They all have a holiday-themed overlay and lighting. And then, last but not least, as Crystal also mentioned, the holiday merch is addictive. It's very hard. You have to
so bad.
It's so hard to walk by any of it and not just buy all of it. So, what are your thoughts on, since it's a separate ticketed event, obviously you bought them for this year. So, what are your thoughts on the extra ticket and the price for it?
I love a party. We're using this as our Magic Kingdom Day. I think it just helps you get extra festive in the mood. If I was an annual pass holder and I did this every single year, I don't think I would opt for it every year, but definitely every couple of years because it is special.
I agree. I mean, I think we'll do the same thing. We'll use the party as our Magic Kingdom Day because you can get in as early as 4 o'clock and you're there, you can stay through midnight. I mean, that's 8 hours.
All right, let's talk
Uh,
about Jollywood Nights. This is also a separate ticketed event at Hollywood Studios. This will be its third season. It had a little bit of a rough beginning, but I feel like they've turned things around. And last year people were raving about it. It's definitely its own unique thing. It's very different than what happened at Magic Kingdom. Think old Hollywood glam, jazz lounges, live entertainment. Of course, you're going to have like your exclusive foods, but you're also going to have like cocktails. It is family friendly, but it is more of a grown up vibe or feel to it.
yeah, I think a lot of people, like adults, will go and dress up because they just want to be like flashy and have like some type of sequins or something like bright and glittery to wear when they go.
So for entertainment, we have Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam. This is hosted by the elves from Prep and Landing, if you know that show. And then you have Disney Holidays in Hollywood, which is like a stage show. I think it has Miss Piggy and Kermit and Minnie and Mickey make an appearance in their holiday best. There is Glisten. This is a ice skating show out front of the Hollywood Theater where Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway is. There is a Pixar disco with rare character sightings. The Twilight Soiree at the Tip Top Club. This is kind of like in a little courtyard as you exit the Tower of Terror. They kind of have like a little jazz lounge situation going on down there. There is the Holiday Fiesta in la Calle. They do like Latin inspired holiday food and drinks. And then, of course, special character greetings. These holiday parties are when you see like the rare characters that you never get to see. So just for that, it's worth it.
So we don't have a foodie guide yet, but we have talked about the fact that there are definitely specialty drinks, specialty desserts, party snacks that are exclusive to Jollywood Nights. There are also special holiday menus at some of the restaurants. Last year at Hollywood Brown Derby, they had Jazzy Holidays, and it's basically a kind of a craft cocktails and light bites. So it's not like a true sit down table service type experience. It's just supposed to be like a fun, jazzy, old Hollywood kind of environment, like we were talking about earlier. Okay, so of the two parties, if you had to pick one, which one would you buy? And I think we need to talk about your specific family, but then also maybe talk about a couple different types of scenarios because you may like something because of your family dynamic, but then others, it may be more appropriate to pick a different option.
Obviously, because we just bought tickets for my family right now, very Merry Christmas. If it was like our travel agent friends, totally Jollywood Nights. Could you
Agree?
imagine?
Yeah, no, I
I
agree.
don't want to name names, but I'm thinking of people who would just make this over the top and would be the funniest and the best night of my life.
And I think we would have to assign particular people to pick outfits and we would just wear what they tell us to wear. I know Crystal's looking at me like, no, I'm not doing that. No, I think we should. I think if we did this, we'd have to go all in. And
I know.
I can think of two individuals that I would be like, they're on tap for the outfits
They're fancy.
because they're fancy. And they would put us in some crazy sparkly stuff for sure. We might even show up with some tiaras.
All right. So, quick answers. Which one do you think has the best atmosphere?
I think that, I mean, like you just said, I really feel like it depends on what you're looking for. I think if you're looking for the traditional Christmas vibe, that's a very merry Christmas party because it's, the cookies and cocoa and the Christmas tree and the snow on Main Street and all of those things. But if you're looking for that kind of like maybe like swanky party adult type atmosphere, maybe, fancier type atmosphere, I think Jollywood Nights would be fun. And I'm not saying that you can't take children to Jollywood Nights, so don't come at me with that. I just think that that's more the vibe of Jollywood Nights, and Very Merry is more traditional Christmas.
Yeah, very true. Best food, I'm going to give it to Jollywood just because they have so many like different offerings from the restaurants to the pop-up bars to the all the things. I think they have the best food. What do you think for entertainment?
I think that's tough because I think that, again, I think it's what you're looking for, what type of entertainment you're looking for, and if it's more traditional. But I think if I'm just like making a broad statement, just based on what I've heard, because I haven't been there myself yet, Jollywood Nights has really great entertainment options.
I would have to agree.
So, what about the best value?
Hmm. They're similar in price. I might have to go with Very Merry though because it's a Magic Kingdom and those tickets are the most expensive of the four. Gosh, it's another. It depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah, I agree.
Because if you're going for A, B, and C, it's going to be Very Merry. If you're going for 1, 2, and 3, it's going to be Jollywood.
Yeah, I agree.
Best parade.
Well, I feel like this is a little unfair because I don't think there's like an official parade at Jollywood Nights. So,
Nope.
Very Merry kind of wins by default.
But same with fireworks.
Agree.
Jollywood kind of has like a show projection thing on the Tower of Terror. It's nothing like super official. So Very Merry gets the fireworks title as well. What do you think for character meets though?
Jollywood Nights for sure. They have the most unique list of characters, things that there are characters that come out that you really don't see any other time throughout the rest of the year, or it's very rare to see them. And people go to this party specifically so that they can see these types of characters.
Yeah, like Coco was there last year.
Mm-hmm.
Duffy.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the like obscure Pixar characters. I think someone posted pictures of like Bluey and Baloo from the Jungle Book.
I was going to say Baloo was there for sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely very obscure characters.
Yeah, just like the most random. What about best date night?
Best date night, I think it's in some like similar to others. It's kind of what you're looking for, but I feel like Jollywood Nights would probably have a better vibe, the better adult vibe, better date night vibe. What about for families?
I'm gonna have to say Very Merry, just because it's the cookies and Santa's in the parade and just the more traditional vibe of it all.
Agree. And then for first time visitors, I'm thinking probably Very Merry as well, just if it's like the introduction of Christmas at Walt Disney World to whether it's a family or a couple or whoever it is that's going. I feel like that's probably the better of the two as the introduction.
I completely agree. So let's talk about the sleeper hit at Christmas, and that is EPCOT.
I'm so excited, honestly, to be able to go to EPCOT. And I mean, obviously, we're not doing the party at Hollywood Studios, and that's one of the bigger, features of Hollywood Studios is it has its party. But we're just going to go to EPCOT and do all the Festival of the Holiday things, and then do the party at Magic Kingdom. So I love EPCOT, and I think EPCOT has amazing features for the holidays. We are all in, as I mentioned, for the kitchens or the booths, basically. The cookie stroll. That is, I think, as soon as we walk in, Lena's headed straight for the little, I don't remember what it's called, the store that's like right there at the juncture of where World Showcase and the front side of the park hits. And they have the cookie stroll packets. She's ready to go. She's getting those. She's getting the cookie stroll. As I mentioned earlier, I love the storytellers that there are representatives from each culture to tell stories of their holiday traditions. I think that's amazing. And getting that experience and exposure.
Pro tip, this is a great one to put on your school dismissal form for educational purposes. If you were skipping school to go during Christmas time, because you learn about all the different traditions from around the world and eat their food and hear their stories. And oh, I love Epcot. Something else that they have that's very popular is the candlelight processional. It's not a separate ticketed event. It's part of like your normal EPCOT ticket. They have famous people come in and do a reading of the traditional Christmas story from the Bible, and they have a choir, and your celebrity narrators range from professional singers to John Stamos to actors. It is truly a sight to behold. They do it in the pavilion right there at the American Adventure, and you can get a dining package. So you can get a reserved seating, or you can just line up and try and find seating. You can just stand along the back somewhere and try to listen in. It is very popular for good reason.
Yes. They had Jordan Fisher last year, and anybody that knows Happily Ever After, he sings that theme song to the fireworks, and he's very near and dear to Disney goers. So that was definitely a big one. And as Crystal mentioned, Uncle Jesse, I don't think Uncle Jesse was on the list last year, but hopefully he'll be back this year.
I'm trying to think of who are some other popular ones.
Brendan Fraser was there. I don't know if he has been there before. I feel like Olaf has done it before, but I don't think he was there last year.
No.
I think there have been a couple that have done it like several years in a row, and I think maybe they just took a break last year because they've done it.
Neil Patrick Harris sells out so quickly for dining packages.
Yeah, but he was not on the list last year. He was either filming or he was doing a show on Broadway, or something was going on where he couldn't do it. It wasn't that he was just like didn't want to go. It was a conflict with something else he was already working on. So hopefully he'll be back on the list this year.
Some of the Epcot rides have holiday overlays. Living with the Land has a Christmas theme.
And then the Spaceship Earth does the lighting. So outside of the party at Hollywood Studios, you have just really that old Hollywood Christmas vibe and vintage decorations across the park. Sunset Boulevard, you have Toy Story Land, and the Tower of Terror projections. So each park has its kind of own symbol. So for Magic Kingdom, it's the castle, and for Epcot, it's Spaceship Earth. For Animal Kingdom, it's the Tree of Life. And then for Hollywood Studios, it's Tower of Terror. So because of that, they do Christmas projections on the tower. And they do that even if it's not a night for Jollywood Nights, they still do projections on the tower at night. And it's really pretty and really fun.
I love the additional decor to Toy Story Land with the extra Christmas lights. I love that the characters in Toy Story Land also may be sporting some holiday festive wear, like a Santa hat or a different vest or something. That's always fun to see.
And I think it's kind of like, I think the vests are supposed to be kind of like ugly sweater type theming as well. So I think that's funny.
And then last but not least, let's chat a little bit about Animal Kingdom. It has its own Christmas vibe. They have the Merry Menagerie, which is like, they're like big paper mache puppets. Is that the best way to describe them?
Yeah.
And they have puppeteers who walk them around and interact with guests out front of the Tree of Life. And they are usually like white snow woodland creatures, like a polar bear and like a rabbit and like different, but they are adorable. It's Christmas Animal Kingdom when the Merry Menagerie come to be.
Yes.
They also have a very cool tree. A lot of people claim it's their favorite tree on property out front with all of like the safari or African themed colors and things. It also has different animals from Disney movies, like Tigger, because he's a tiger hidden in the tree.
Yeah, it's very cute. It's just different because it's outside of the park. It's before you actually get into the park, you see it. The other thing, too, is the Tree of Life. They do basically projections on it. And this happens right around closing when it's starting to get dark, because they don't have, as the other parks, you can't really have parties or super loud fireworks or shows because of the animals. So you have to be careful with that. So that's the reason why Animal Kingdom typically closes earlier than the other parks, and they don't have any nighttime shows, but they do have the Tree of Life Awakenings. That is just like a little show that they do around when it gets dark. The next thing we're going to talk about is going to the resorts at the holidays. It is one of the best parts. I think Crystal mentioned earlier on that you could just go and do a staycation and not even actually go into the parks and just go around to the different resorts and have a grand time looking at all the different Christmas decorations and feel extremely festive. One of the things that we do want to remind you about before we start talking about this is that you should not assume that you can just show up to the resort and park and go in and then do park hopping from that resort. They're kind of cracking down more on this because people abuse it, and we can't have nice things because people do things like this. People have been using the parking at the resorts basically to bypass paying for parking. So now they're just being pretty strict about if you don't have a reservation to stay at the resort or you don't have a dining reservation at the resort, they're probably not going to let you park there. You may get lucky depending on the cast member, but you should absolutely not assume you're going to be able to do it. And we're not going to recommend it as travel advisors.
And we're seeing them getting like super strict, like the 4th of July, like Easter weekend. Like they're getting even more so about it during peak holiday weekends.
Yeah.
So I can only assume that Christmas, like they're not going to let you just walk into Disney Springs and get to the resort without scanning your magic band kind of thing.
Let's talk about some of the more popular resorts when it comes to the holidays. The Grand Floridian, although they sadly are not going to have the gingerbread house again this year.
Ew.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm hoping that that's like a temporary thing and that they're just taking a break for a while because I know that was really popular. They tend to respond when people throw a fit. So I have a feeling that people are going to throw a fit that it's 2 years in a row they have not had the gingerbread house. However, they also have beautiful decorations at the Grand Floridian. They have this amazing tree in the lobby, and just the decorations overall are just classic Christmas decorations.
I'm just curious if the gingerbread house won't fit with the new bar. Like if it's a space issue and they're trying to like limit how many people come to the resort because it kind of pushes people who are staying there like out because they can't enjoy their lobby because so many people are coming to see gingerbread house.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. The beach club has the carousel that is out of gingerbread. Animal Kingdom Lodge, we talked about that. They have the beautiful tree in the lobby. They have that huge grand tree. The lobby itself is beautiful in the Jumbo House side. Wilderness Lodge, that's my absolute favorite. It has the huge tree in the lobby and it has a gigantic, just beautiful lobby to begin with. And then when you put the tree there, it's just over the top. Contemporary, it also has a gingerbread house there. It was Cinderella. In the Polynesian, they have, like we talked about, they have the Polynesian themed decorations and they play Polynesian themed Christmas music. So it's just gorgeous. And just the whole vibe of Poly is amazing anyway. And then you add Christmas on top of it. In Fort Wilderness and the campgrounds, people go just absolutely nuts with Christmas decorations. And it's really fun if you're able to go out there and just look at all the different decorations at the different campsites and the different RVs. People love it. People go there just to be able to stay over the holidays and decorate and stay for several weeks. It's really pretty, and it's out there on the water, so you can also see the parade that's on the water on Seven Seas Lagoon. I'm having trouble speaking today.
With the more recent crackdown of getting to the different resorts, I think I would just be a little more strategic about where I stay. Like if I'm like wanting so badly to see all the stuff on the monorail, maybe I would stay at the monorail for a night and do a split stay so I have access without like risking not getting in because of where I'm staying. So if you were planning to stay, maybe just think through that a little bit. It's also probably a good idea to have one, maybe two rest days that you can just like resort hop. And you don't need a park ticket to see all these Christmas decorations. But if you're there, take advantage of it and, maybe get an early flight in and have a whole day, or a late flight out and have the whole day to just explore.
Agree. I think we both talked about this before, but when we were there several years ago over Christmas, we had 2 days. We had 2 rest days, and it was the most amazing thing ever because we were able to use it for that purpose and just not feel so rushed.
We spoke about Disney Springs a little bit. We didn't say what their offerings are, but they have their own thing too. They have a whole Christmas tree stroll with lots of different trees around decorated differently, and they kind of do like a little scavenger hunt for it. Of course, you have your holiday shopping. Santa comes to town and you can meet and greet. They have different live entertainment throughout. Of course, your holiday snacks. And it's just, every time I'm at Disney Springs, I love it more and more. So if you do not have a Disney Springs afternoon or day as part of your 7-day Disney vacation, you're really missing out. And the Christmas time is the perfect time to experience it.
Agree. Okay, so just quickly, we're going to talk about Disney Cruise Line, just because we kind of gave it an honorable mention at the beginning. If you've been to the parks multiple times over the holidays and you're looking for something a little bit different, but you still want Disney and you still want the holidays, you can absolutely go on a Merrytime cruise and experience this Disney magic. And it's really more of a all-inclusive feel of a cruise. And the ship is decorated stem to stern with all the holiday things. The characters have their holiday gear on. They have a tree and the atrium. It's absolutely magical.
We have a whole section dedicated to this and the special Halloween sailings a couple episodes back. So go listen to that for like more in depth. I think one of my favorite things the Disney Cruise Line does for the holidays is they decorate the islands. So you get off at Castaway and there's a massive Christmas tree and there's Christmas decorations. And I'm sure Mele Kalikimaka is playing across the island. So I love that so much. This is available on several different sailings. And just as a reminder, we do offer up to $1,000 onboard credit for our Disney Cruise Line patrons. And we can discuss this further. It's not too late to book. They have a lot of promos, which is odd to say with Disney Cruise Line, but there are some good promos that include very maritime sailings from both coasts.
And we also want to mention Disneyland for the holidays. It does not have a specific party, but it is still magical. It has the holiday vibe throughout. It's smaller. It's more walkable. It just in general feels cozier, like an old-fashioned Christmas because of its size. The things that you're going to see there with overlays, you have the Haunted Mansion overlay. It's a small world. Holiday decoration. Cars Land really just goes all out and decorates for the holidays. They do have the Festival of the Holidays. That's DCA, and it has booths just like you get at EPCOT. It's just on a smaller scale. They do have also the Christmas Fantasy Parade. They have the lighting of the castle. I don't know if you've ever seen the pictures of the castle at Disneyland, but it's absolutely gorgeous. It looks like the castle is just draped in like magical icicles, basically.
Well, they decorate it with icicles.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like bulbs, and they actually transform. They put ice and snow and Christmas bulbs on their castle.
I didn't realize that.
Yes, it is magical.
It is. Well, no wonder it looks so magical because it is literally this like beautiful sparkling castle. It's gorgeous. And then they also have their version of holiday fireworks as well.
They have their own little candlelight processional as well. They just do it like against the train station, but it's only like 1 or 2 readings. So it is very special and very intimate. And then the character meal at the Grand Californian, they will have special Christmas outfits. Characters last year were dressed as like the Christmas Carol, the Mickey movie. So you had like Goofy had his because he's one of
He's dressed up as Marley. Yeah.
yes, one of the ghosts. So that's very fun.
I love that. I would have been so excited. That's one of my favorite holiday movies of all time. Not specifically the Disney version, but just the story, the Christmas Carol, the story. I've watched like every version that they've made on like a movie, and of course I've read the book. So I would have loved that.
Yes, and I'm sure that so the 70th celebration is going until they switch over for the Halloween decorations.
Hmm.
So last year they kind of kept the 70th decorations up because it's like a year-long celebration. I am venturing to guess that they're going to go a little over the top this year because they didn't get to do everything they usually do last year.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah, they're going to make up for lost time. So before we wrap up, we're going to talk about a few planning tips for going around the holidays. You definitely want to book early because the resorts definitely sell out, especially if they have any kind of promotion going on. They're going to sell out. And if you wanted a specific resort, you're probably not going to get it unless you book earlier. Resorts, especially those monorail resorts and Wilderness Lodge. Wilderness Lodge is extremely popular at the holidays, and so it's pretty much gone. Like as soon as tickets open up for the holidays, it's gone. So if that's something that you ever want to do or go and stay there, you want to do that as soon as you're able to get a reservation for December of whatever that year is. You want to pay attention to the party tickets. If you want to do the party, it's definitely recommended that you do the party. If you're going to do that, then, or one of the parties, you don't have to do both of the parties, but it's recommended to do at least one. But you want to make sure that you get those tickets in plenty of time as well, because they will sell out. And once they're gone, they're gone. And if you were trying to plan a trip around a certain time frame, there's really nothing you can do other than maybe move your dates.
Crowds are going to get heavier and pick up the closer you get to Christmas and New Year's. The week between Christmas and New Year's is the busiest time at Walt Disney World. So in return, it is also the most expensive time for Walt Disney World. Your lightning lanes will sell out. They'll be $45 a day at Magic Kingdom. Premier Pass sells out. VIP tours sell out. So if this is something you really want to do, this is not a last minute thing. And you need to pack your patience pants because there are a lot of people there.
There are.
It is fun and it is magical, but you are with all of your nearest and greatest, closest friends that also think it is the most magical time of year.
Also to note, although it is the busiest time that week after Christmas, there aren't any parties that week. So just as a reminder, they have added the Jollywood Nights parties in the beginning of January, but there aren't any party dates for either during that main week after Christmas. So if you're looking for party, you just may want to just adjust your expectations because that's not going to be the case.
If you're looking for like low crowd, maybe like the first week of December, like after everybody just went back to school after Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Like that might be your best bet. Or like if they open the party November 9th, those first week is really popular. But then like the following week, right before Thanksgiving, there's like a week between the first party and Thanksgiving week. That's also another good week. But if you're going to do that, jump on it now because everybody else is going to have the same idea.
Yeah. Obviously, those 2 weeks on either side of Thanksgiving, because kids aren't out of school, those can be a better week, but you'll have to take your kids out of school, which is fine if that's something that you want to do. But just know that the weeks that kids are out of school, that's why they're so crowded, because everybody's going when their children are out of school, and it gets a little bananas for sure. Thinking about packing, you have to, this time of year is kind of weird because you can have like 80-degree days or you can have 50-degree days. You really kind of just have to make sure that you're paying attention to what the weather's going to look like, because it can be just as warm or feel just as warm as if you're there maybe in like early summer. or it can actually feel like winter. And you want to make sure that you're dressed. You have options for whatever the weather's going to be like. More than likely, you're probably going to have to do layers where in the mornings it's a little on the cooler side. So you may want to have a long sleeve shirt or wear pants or have a sweatshirt. But then later in the day, it gets a little bit warmer and it's going to be too hot for a sweatshirt or a long sleeve shirt or pants.
And then us coming from the Midwest will just wear a t-shirt and be fine. And Floridians will be wearing their huge winter coats because they're freezing.
Or your
This is glorious.
or your friend from North Carolina that freezes all the time. And then if it's 60 degrees outside, I'm gonna be cold. Crystal talked about your lightning lane strategy. This is a tough one at the holidays. It really is, because they'll sell out. And when they sell out, you have to think about you're competing against all those other people for those lightning lanes. And sometimes it's not necessarily worth it because you don't actually get any benefit from it. So that's a whole other conversation, because you just really have to pay attention. You may want to use some extra help, like we talked about before, the standby skipper or Weight Magic to help you with your lightning lanes. It would be worth the extra money so that you're not stressed out and trying to grab your lightning lanes, and that they're able to grab them for you a lot easier with the technology that they're using. We talked about the best weeks. Budget-wise, this is also going to be the most expensive time to go. Not necessarily like early December, like Crystal was mentioning, or like early November, but definitely during Thanksgiving and then those weeks around Christmas, it's going to be more expensive. It's going to be more expensive for Walt Disney World. It's going to be more expensive for your cruises. It is what it is. It's a similar situation with spring break. It's a popular time to go because kids are out of school. And because it's more popular, there's more demand and it's more expensive. So just make sure that you are aware of that if you want to go around the holidays. And you're, like Crystal mentioned, the lightning lanes, that's dynamic pricing. And the more demand there is, the more expensive they're going to be. And you will definitely pay $40 to $50 per person for Magic Kingdom.
All right, we'd love to hear from you. If you could only choose one Disney Christmas experience, what would be and why? Shoot us an email, DM us on Instagram. We want to know what you would choose, because I know our preferences are different than others. So let us know.
If you are thinking about going to Disney World, Disneyland, or on a cruise, a Very Merrytime cruise this season, we would love to help you out. For Disney World, you never know. Crystal and I might be able to just meet up and say hi if you want to book at the same week that we go. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. We appreciate you so much. Have a great week, and we will talk to you all next week. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Wanderlust and Wishes.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform.
And remember, the world is full of wonders waiting to be explored. Until next time, happy travels.
Bye for now.